lab explanation for the first lab. That is, I try to review what you have known from 210 that you studied Java already at first. But in that course, we use another tool, another IDE. But in the data structure lab, we've used Eclipse, and of course in the lecture one we'll use Eclipse also. So in here you have to download the Eclipse from this link first. You have to choose the correct version of your tools. So please click on the download button here, and then so you have to choose the correct one. The one that I use, the one that I use this one. It is the IDE version 2021 to okay. So you have to choose the correct architecture of your computer, and so once you click on the download, you see that here this one is the Eclipse IDE for Java developer. So you can choose this package here, okay. Or you can download Eclipse installer, but actually the one that I use is for Windows. You have to choose this one, and for Mac OS you have to know what is your CPU. Okay, so that's all. You have to download and install Eclipse into your machine. Once you finish installing the Eclipse one, now open it, and you see this is the like almost blank like this, and this is the lab explanation in your Microsoft Word. You have to import the Java file into your project. So you have to go back to your My Course field and go to your lab here. You see that we have the Word file here. That is the one that I show you in this video. The next one is the initial Java file. This one is the file that you have to download into your machine, and this one is a zip file, so you have to extract it first. Once you extract the file already, you can import what I've shown you in the first lab. So you have to start by clicking this one, this menu. You have to choose File, New, and Java Project. So you have to name it like lab. In my case, I've used lab 01 Java review, for example. Okay, and you have to choose the execution environment, Java runtime environment. I choose the Java Standard Edition 1.8, and that's all. And you can leave other to be the default one. So once you finish, click on Finish, and you see that we will have the folder lab 01 Java review here. Now you have to import your Java file into the source folder. So right click on the source folder and then import. Click here on import, and you have to choose general. There are a lot of folders here, but you have to choose the general and click on archive file, and then browse on your computer and load the one that you just download from my course field. This is lab 01.student.jar, and then click open, and you see that there are a lot of files here. So just click on finish, and you see that there are many files that extracted into this folder. the point 2D one, the point 2Ds, and test Java review. And you can see that there is an X mark here that is tell that it still has something wrong with this file. So we'll see it later. And the last one is the data file. The data file is the points.txt. But because we have to run this, we have to run your project, and we have to read this file. So the best way is you have to move this file into your project folder here. So if you go up one level, because this one is in the source folder, and then once you move it, can you see it's moved out from the source folder. So your structure in your project should be like this. The points.txt should be moved into the folder, the project level, out of the source folder. Okay, so now we will correct this wrong setting. Actually, we've used JUnit test 4. So in Eclipse, it tells you that this one is something wrong. So you just move your mouse, hover it here, and then click on Fix Project Setup. And then it will tell you add the JUnit 4 library to the build part. And then click OK. So everything will go fine here. So that's all. And now let's double click on point 2D and point 2Ds. So you see that in point 2D is a class of the point. That is the simplest, like very easy class. And the point 2Ds is the class that contains a lot of points, and it will store all points in this array. This one is the points, and you have to read the file from here. The points in this file is the coordinate of all 20 points, and each point is this x and y separated by a space. So in each test case, you will see here for the first test case, it is this test new point. Actually, you can see that in this point 2D1, it will create a new point, and then just check the values of x and y that you just create. If it's correct, if it return 2.3 and 4.9, 4.5, so that's really correct. So this is the first example that I show you. It can be done within this constructor. So in each method, there is a comments that ask you to do something. So in this constructor, you have to store x and y in this dot x and this dot y. So it's easy that you just use this dot x is x and this dot y is y. That's all. So once you finish this constructor, you can go and run this test java review.java. You can click here, don't forget to save it, and then right click here and run as JUnit test. So once you run it, on your left panel, it will be changed to the perspective of the JUnit, and you can see that we have the green mark here. That is you just passed the first test case, and there are 3 wrong or incorrect. The red mark that it's not correct, but this one is the blue, the dark blue one. It is the one that is like it's failure. So you have to correct, you have to fill in everything here. Okay, so let's check at the test case here. For the second one, test find distance. So in this test case, there are 2 points here, and then just I print it out to the screen to check that your distance is correct or not. So you have to fill in the distance here, okay, and change the value that you return. So you have to find using the Euclidean distance. You have to take the square root of difference of x square plus difference of y square. That's all for the distance. Okay, so once you test this one, I think you can easily pass this test distance. This one is more difficult. That is, there is a method read from file that store in this class. So the read from file, you have to read all points stored in that file name, and then store them in this array. The points one here. Don't forget that we didn't initiate this one yet. So you have to initiate the array and store each point in each element of this array. So you have to put your code here, and then once you finish reading the file, it will just read check the first one, the first point, and the last point. Check coordinate of the first and last. Okay, so in the point there is another point to these. There is another method called getPoint of index I. So you have to return the point object at index I in this method. Okay, and the last two method that is very close to each other. That is get the closest point to the origin and get closest point. The parameter here is x and y, so you have to iterate through all points in the array to get the closest point to this x and y. Okay, so once you finish this method, you just modify this one by using this method. It will be very easy one. Okay, and then this is very important point. Once you finish everything, please click on this folder. Now it's time to export your work. Guys, right click on the folder level and then export. You have to choose the Java folder and choose the Java file. Click next, and then you just leave everything like this, and don't forget to click on this one. You have to choose this one, export the Java source files and resources. The default one may be this one, I'm not sure, but you have to click this one is still fine. This one is still fine. You can leave it like this, but this one is more important because you have to include the source files and the resources in this jar file. So you have to choose this option, and then choose the jar file name, the name of your jar file, and the folder, the path to your jar file, and then click on finish. And you will see a file that just created the jar file, and you have to submit that jar file to my course field. That's all. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed, and this is just the review one. It's not so difficult, but I try to make you familiar with the tools that we will use in this semester. Thank you.